So here we go. This is in the hood. So just like I said, we want to protect our visualization at all costs. So I'm going to pop that scope out just a little bit, and I'm going to visualize the hood. So that does two things, remember, that will help us protect our lens so that we're not getting smudged. But it also shows us where the cautery is going to be. So in the Hemopro, it's lens, C-ring, cautery. And so the smoothest part of your scope is going to be, right above your lens. Now, if I were to not be back in the hood and I didn't know that my C-ring was right here, and I just start to go up the tunnel, and I advocate for kind of rocking it back and forth so that if you do get caught on anything, it kind of falls off to the side. If I forget and I think that I have the smoothest side of the scope against my vein in this orientation, I would be wrong, because the cautery is going to come from down here. So this is my very crude cautery jaws. All right. And the smooth part of my scope is up here. So what I really need to do is rotate that so that my C-ring is now oriented this way, which will put my cautery up here. And then the smooth side of my scope is down this way. That way, as I'm sliding up and rocking back and forth, if anything on the vein is, going to get caught, it's going to be on the smoothest side and has the best chance of kind of sliding off of the scope. Now, you're going to say, well, the blind side of your scope, the part where the cautery is coming out, could get caught on the tunnel. Yes, it could. But I would rather beat up my tunnel than beat up my vein on the way up the tunnel. So just some food for thought. So I do find that there's a branch that's kind of, I'm being very conservative here, but I'm going to just take this stuff right now. So in the event that it is vascular, it doesn't bleed on me. I think I probably could have pushed right through it, but you never know. You don't know what it took to or whatnot. So I divide that and then pull your harvester back in, your cautery. Now I'm going to go up the tunnel and see I rock it back and forth. Got a little caught on something there. So just take your time, work up that tunnel. Keep the open part of the C-ring towards the vein on your way up. So once you're at the distal end of your tunnel, you're going to extend that C-ring out and you're going to start working backwards. So, and you want to kind of turn it both ways to see what's where. I want to visualize what I'm cutting. So, you really ought to see, when you're cauterizing, you ought to see this black part of your harvester or of your cautery as you're cutting. So your jaws are over here. I want to see this black part because then I know there's nothing that's surprising me. If I were to just see the tips of the jaws and I don't see any of that black part, what if I have something, worst case scenario, I've got like a loop of the vein in the jaws as I'm cauterizing. That's no good. So ideally, you'd like to see this black part right here, at least just a sliver of it. It doesn't have to be this much, but just a sliver of it. And I don't always do a perfect job of that here. So cauterizing, remember, we pull back. If it's tissue, just pull back and hold it. If it is a branch, I do like to pulse it, so it kind of resets that timer in there. So being a little greedy here, probably shouldn't go attacking too much that's past my C-ring just for control's sake. But adjusting the focus, always a good tip right there. So I'm going to lift that up and kind of get that as much as I can in the middle of my tunnel, twist my scope so that my cautery is oriented enough, and seem to be struggling with that at the moment, and then get it in the center of the jaws. There's the pulsing, the bouncing of that cautery is me pulsing the cautery. This cautery works great, actually. I know that I said before, or I think I mentioned it before, I had some smoke issues early on. They redesigned the cautery, and so it functions a lot better now. And actually, I did just learn this, that if you open the jaws all the way, you push that button all the way forward, and it opens the jaws of the Hemopro, cautery device, harvesting device, there's a vent in the middle. And so if you open those jaws all the way up, it acts as a vent. So you don't have to, if you do get smoke in your tunnel, you don't have to take the cautery piece all the way out. You can just push that button, that switch all the way forward. It opens up the jaws and acts as a vent. So a little food for thought. The cautery works great in tissue like this. So honestly, I didn't have to be quite as complete with the dissection, although I don't know. The less I have to do with this, I think the better, but it does handle that tissue perfectly, clearly. So you want the curved part, the inside part of that curve towards your vein as you cauterize. This is the 3500, but the Hemopro 2 is the same thing. You want the curved part towards your vein whenever you're taking branches. So a little pulse there, kind of slide on down and keep moving. So that pulse is pretty quick. So it's not like I demonstrated where it's just kind of like on, off, on, off. It's pretty much like, you know, you're pull, release, pull, release, pull, release. And you can see it bouncing there just to reset the timer. So the thicker the branch, the more times I'll do that.